Jason Gray always believed he was destined for greatness. At 28, he had already climbed the ranks in a prestigious tech company, carving out a role for himself as an AI systems developer. His dreams were wrapped in shimmering towers of opportunity. The future was limitless. But under the sleek surface of his career, something darker lurked. Every morning, when Jason walked into the glass-walled office, a knot of unease tightened in his stomach. There was an invisible weight he carried, a sense that he didn't quite belong, no matter how flawless his code was or how innovative his solutions were. He worked harder than anyone. Late nights, weekends, volunteering for every difficult project. Yet meetings became battlegrounds, where his ideas were too often overlooked. He would suggest a breakthrough, only to be met with blank stares, and days later hear the same concept applauded when presented by a white colleague. It was subtle at first, a missed nod, a lack of eye contact. Over time, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Jason, with his sharp mind and tireless energy, was being quietly edged out of the recognition he had rightfully earned. One rainy Thursday afternoon, everything crystallized. Jason had been working for months on a cutting-edge AI security framework, one that could revolutionize data protection for the company's clients. He spent nights refining the system, making it airtight. He knew it was his best work yet. When the day came to present it to the senior leadership, he wore his best suit, triple-checked his slides, and rehearsed every line. The room was filled with executives and decision-makers. Jason's voice was steady, his proposal clear, his passion undeniable. He ended his presentation and looked around, heart hammering. Silence. A long, uncomfortable silence. Then came a few polite nods, a mumbled, "Thanks, Jason," and they moved on. An hour later, during a casual brainstorm session, his white colleague Mark floated a new idea, suspiciously similar to Jason's proposal, just stripped of technical complexity. The room lit up. Executives leaned forward, asked questions, clapped him on the back. Jason sat frozen, his world tilting. It wasn't that his idea wasn't good. It was that it came from him. That night, Jason stayed late, pretending to work while he sat in the empty office, staring at the city lights. He thought about the dreams he once had, the belief that talent would always be enough. His fists clenched in his lap. The truth was raw, unvarnished. Here, being brilliant wasn't enough, not when you were black. The following morning, Jason shuffled into the break room, running on 2 hours of sleep and too much bitterness. Michelle Fletcher, a fellow developer, spotted him. Michelle was one of the few colleagues who ever treated Jason with genuine respect. She approached quietly. "Jason," she said, her voice soft, "I saw what happened yesterday. I'm sorry. It's not right." He looked at her, exhausted, wary. "I believe in your work," Michelle continued, "and I'm not the only one. If you ever want to push this project forward, I'm with you." Jason swallowed hard. It wasn't much, but it was something. For the first time in a long while, hope stirred in his chest. Over the next few weeks, Jason and Michelle worked quietly but relentlessly. They met after hours in quiet corners of the city, coffee shops, library rooms, even once at Michelle's cramped apartment. They refined Jason's original AI security framework, making it even sharper, even more indispensable. Michelle had contacts, people outside their company who were tired of seeing talent suffocated by systemic bias. She introduced Jason to Dr. Naomi Ewis, a tech entrepreneur who had built her own cybersecurity firm from the ground up. Naomi wasn't just successful, She was a force of nature. Their first meeting was a revelation. Naomi listened intently, asking piercing questions. She didn't pat Jason on the head or doubt his competence. She respected him, treated him like an equal. "Your work speaks for itself," she said finally. "But the system you're trapped in, it's designed to mute voices like yours." Jason exhaled, feeling seen in a way he hadn't in years. Naomi made an offer. She wanted to help Jason launch his own company, a startup built around his revolutionary AI system, staffed with the kind of talent overlooked by traditional gatekeepers. She would invest, mentor, and open her network. But the vision had to stay true. A future led by those who were never supposed to have a seat at the table. It was overwhelming. Jason felt excitement warring with fear. Could he really walk away from the stability of his corporate job? Could he risk everything on a dream? At the same time, he knew staying meant slow death, watching his ideas stolen, his spirit crushed bit by bit. One night, as he stood on a bridge overlooking the restless river slicing through the city, Jason made his decision. The skyline blazed behind him, full of towers he once worshipped but now saw clearly. Monuments not built for him. He wasn't going to beg for space anymore. He was going to build something of his own. The first months of building their startup were brutal. Jason and Michelle worked out of a borrowed co-working space, scraping together resources, chasing meetings, enduring rejection after rejection. Naomi's mentorship kept them alive, both financially and emotionally, but the path was treacherous. Investors who smiled politely at meetings often ghosted them afterward. Friends warned Jason he was taking it too personally, that maybe he should just go back to his old company and play the game. Jason refused. They assembled a small team of brilliant, overlooked minds, coders fresh out of state schools, cybersecurity analysts who couldn't get interviews because of the zip codes on their resumes, and veterans of corporate battles tired of banging against invisible walls. It wasn't just a company. It was a rebellion. They named it Sentinel AI, Guardians of Digital Freedom, Defenders of Unseen Talents. And slowly, painfully, Sentinel grew. Their breakthrough came during a local tech security expo. Jason, nervous but burning with purpose, pitched their AI system to a crowded room of CEOs and decision-makers. This time, he didn't water it down. He didn't apologize. He spoke the truth of what they had built and why it mattered. Afterward, an executive from a major healthcare provider approached them, hand extended. "I want Sentinel protecting our patients' data," he said. "I want what you built." Contracts followed. More companies took notice. Sentinel moved from surviving to thriving. Months turned into a year. Jason walked into his new office one morning. Not a glass tower, but a sunlit floor above a community center, humming with life and energy. Employees laughed over coffee. Lines of code danced across giant screens. Diversity wasn't a quota here. It was the oxygen that kept them alive. Jason leaned against the doorway, watching. He had built this. They had built this. And for the first time in his life, Jason didn't feel like he had to prove he belonged. He was exactly where he was meant to be.